It's me, I'm back. As we get set up for the next ensemble, I have two things to tell you. The first thing to tell you is that the order has changed slightly, so the brass ensemble will actually go next, and the orchestra winds will finish up for the night. The other thing I'd like to tell you is, I believe Natalie said this at the beginning of the xylophone group, but we don't have a major in music at Brockport, so everybody you see up here is doing this because they want to. So they are majoring in all of the things that you are majoring in. They're just choosing to do this in addition to that. So, if you're a person who once played an instrument or you once sang in high school and you have not done it since then, but you were interested in doing that, we hope that you'll come join us. And we have a lot of different groups. In addition to the three that you're seeing tonight, there's also an orchestra, a concert band, and a chorus. So we hope that you join us. That being said, maybe you played in high school and you have a flute sitting in your closet and you're like, I'm not playing this ever again and I don't want it, I want it out of my hair. Consider donating it to music studies, because the more instruments that we have available, the more opportunities we can give to other people to play, even if you don't wish to. So, I'll turn it over to Dr. Natalie Fuller now for the brass ensemble. Let me go ahead and fix this thing. And we'll be back in a moment with the brass ensemble.
Thank you very much. We're just going to go ahead and get set up, and we're going to play a tuning note, and we're going to just jump right in. Western Fanfare by Eric Ewazen, a composer who's shockingly still alive. This song was composed about 20 years ago. It was commissioned by the Music Academy of the West. Our theme for brass today is places kind of around the world. So this one was composed by Eric Ewazen for a brass ensemble, which is great because that's what we are. We don't always play music that was specifically written for a brass ensemble, so that's why this one's kind of special for us. Eric Ewazen actually did his bachelor's degree right here at the Easton School of Music, just in downtown Rochester, and he did his doctorate at the Juilliard School, which is one of the top music schools in North America. The next song we're going to play for you tonight, we're going to invite a guest drummer on stage with us, is A Nightingale Sang in Berkeley Square. Now this is an old jazz standard that comes to us from 1939, and Berkeley Square is a place in London. A nightingale is often incorporated in music because of its lovely song, although you wouldn't necessarily see one of them in the middle of London. Some of the people that made this song famous include Glenn Miller, Beryl Lynn, Frank Sinatra, Bing Crosby, Nat King Cole, Perry Como. Really a lot of different people have sung this song and sung it well. We hope to do it justice, and we hope you enjoy. very well-known band collection that if any of you played in concert band in your high schools at once upon a time, you probably will recognize this. Lincolnshire Posy by Percy Grainger. We're going to do the first movement of that, which is called Lisbon, and this comes to us from around 1937. Now, Percy Grainger was an Australian who ended up moving to the US, who went around Great Britain collecting folk songs. This is one of the songs that he collected and that he put into band format, and he writes about the song this, and I quote, "Each number is intended to be a kind of musical portrait of the singer's personality, no less than of his habits of song, his regular or irregular wants of rhythm, his preference for gaunt or ornately arabesque delivery, his contrasts of legato and staccato, his tendency towards breadth or delicacy of tone." Here is Percy Grainger's Lisbon. Percy Grainger theme, we are going to play another song by him called Colonial Song. This was written in 1911, and it was written for his mother. He writes about this one, "No traditional tunes of any kind are made use of in this piece, in which I have wished to express feelings aroused by thoughts of the scenery and people of my native land, Australia, and also to voice a certain emotion that seems to me not untypical of native-born colonials in general." So this one was a little bit different from Percy Grainger's music because he actually relied on tunes that came out of his own mind. We hope you enjoy Colonial Song. All right, we only have two more pieces for you. They are ones that I'm sure you will definitely recognize. If you don't, you might want to look them up. The first one we're going to do is Georgia on My Mind. This was written in 1930, and it is said that the composer hadn't necessarily visited the state when he wrote this piece, but in fact it was suggested to him by a saxophonist by the name Trumbauer, because he said, the saxophonist, nobody ever lost money writing songs about the South. I wonder if he was from Rochester and really hated the winters. So we're going to do this one for you now. It reached the top 10. It rose into the top 10 when it was originally set forth. But in 1960, a very famous person did this song, and it has become iconic. Does anybody know who it was? I'm hearing it very quietly. Ray Charles. Okay? This went to #1 and won a Grammy. Now, if we're going to do Georgia, we've got to do New York. So we're going to finish off the concert after Georgia with New York, New York, which was debuted by Lisa Minnelli in 1977, and it was in a film directed by Scorsese, starring both Minnelli and Robert De Niro. It reached a whopping 104th on the charts. Not so great. Frank Sinatra also recorded this song, which is the one that we probably all love and know the best. So thank you for coming. Please stay tuned. There's another group after us. We hope you've enjoyed the brass ensemble. This is Georgia, followed by New York, New York.
Just when you thought you'd seen the last of me, I'm back. As our next group comes on stage and sets up, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what you're about to hear. Let me put this down. So some of you may be familiar with band if you've played in band, which is made up of woodwinds, brass, and percussion. And there's typically a lot of each of those instruments. You may also be familiar with orchestra, which sometimes includes winds, brass, and percussion, but always includes a lot of string instruments. Rockport, we have both an orchestra and a band, but this semester, a little unusually for us, the orchestra is playing with just the strings. We're going to be playing a concert with the chorus at the end of the semester on this stage, so we hope that you join us. That being the case, we do have wind, brass, and percussion players in our orchestra, and since they are not playing on this other concert with the strings and the chorus, I thought, let's do something a little bit different. So while this might look like a small band, this is actually the wind section of the Rockport College Community Orchestra. Different entity than the Rockport Concert Band. This style of music that we're playing, it's called harmony music. It's written specifically for this smaller setup. We're playing 2 pieces for you tonight, both about 5 minutes each. For those of you that are in an introduction to music class, or who are not super familiar with music, I'm going to tell you 2 things that you can listen for as we perform these pieces. The first is mode. Mode refers to 2 words, major or minor. Colloquially, or what you may be more familiar with, major or songs in a major mode tend to sound happy, and songs that are in a minor mode tend to sound sad. There's no rule that says that has to be the case. That's just what we have learned as we have grown up in the Western world listening to music of this style. The last part is meter. Meter has to do with the organization of beats. And there's 2 types of meter in our musical system. The first is called simple, where we divide the beat into 2 equal parts. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. The other type of meter is called compound meter. You'll take those same beats and you'll divide them into 3 equal parts. 1 and a, 2 and a, 3 and a, 4 and a. So the 2 pieces we're going to play for you demonstrate each of those meter types, simple and compound, and each of those mode types, major and minor. The first piece is in a major mode in compound meter, and the second piece is in a minor mode in simple meter. So we hope you've enjoyed this concert. We hope you'll join us again in the future, and please enjoy the Rockport College Community Orchestra wind section.